Hi, my name is Andrew J. Pocius. I'm going to be doing my YouTube presentation on training to performance standards, which I think is a very important part of food service and hospitality management and supervision. I think it's important because you need to set clear performance standards because if you don't, your staff, your employees are not going to understand what kind of job they, uh, they need to do, and they're not going to perform it very well. And uh, probably what's going to happen is that they're going to do one of two things. One, they're going to make a mistake and then learn from that mistake, and that's how they're going to learn to work to a performance standard. Or they're just going to do everything right. It's probably not the case. Probably what's going to happen is that they're going to make a mistake and then learn from that, which is a great way to learn. It's great to learn from your mistakes because you make a mistake and you're never going to do it again. Um, but it's probably not the best thing to do inside a work environment or a professional environment. Um, And a great way to get rid of the mistake of it, get rid of all that, is to set performance standards and train your employees to performance standards. And I've worked inside the food service industry, and I'm sure a lot of people. I've worked inside the food service and hospitality industry, and they've been trained the same way, where um, they haven't been told what they're supposed to do, and there's a little bit of confusion as to what their performance standards should be, and they make mistakes and they learn from that. It usually is not that big of a deal, but there's a better way to go around that. Set the standards. Your employees will want to meet those standards and eventually exceed them. And that's what the general point of management is, point of training is. And yeah, that's the best way to do it. I'm going to talk about a little bit uh, about these articles that I looked up on the internet that have to do with performance standards. One of the articles is about the Athena Hotel chain. They're a hotel chain in the United States. They have a couple of hotels inside New York. They have a hotel inside Chicago. They have a hotel inside Washington. They got a couple hotels uh, besides that. And what they've done is that they have trained their employees, their staff, to interpret body language of individuals and guests inside their hotel. They can analyze the body language of their guests and determine what their needs and wants may be without even talking to them or even while talking to them, which is this is a great thing because if you can analyze what your guests' wants and needs are, then you can meet their wants and needs a little bit better, And so I'm going to read a little bit from the article. Okay, it's from the Athena Hotel chain. Starting this month in Chicago, New York, and Washington, staffers at the Athena boutique hotel chain are trying to anticipate guest needs just by looking at them. Everyone from housekeeping to management is being told to tailor their interactions with guests to their body language. Body language expert trained employees at the chain's 5 hotels in New York and one each in Chicago and Washington are cues to look for. A guest who makes eye contact while walking down the hall, for instance, might be open to conversation. A corporate trekker who's constantly tugging on his ears is probably stressed and might be interested in a yoga kit, or maybe a therapeutic pillow from the hotel's pillow menu. Employees learn that if guests are constantly touching their faces, it's a likely sign that they're anxious after a long day of meetings or travel. They'll grab their chin or paw on their ear. Uh, these are cues that maybe I should be doing something to get them to the room quick and make them comfortable. So yeah, that's really interesting. Um, Determining what people's wants and needs are just by body language. But a couple problems that I think maybe someone's walking down the hall and they make contact with one of the members of the staff, eye contact with one of the members of the staff, it doesn't necessarily mean they want a conversation. Maybe they're just trying to be polite, smiling at them, making eye contact. Uh, Probably shouldn't go up and start talking to them. They might think that's strange. They might feel intimidated. They might just not want to be bothered. I know I'd probably be like that. Also, you should probably go up to guests and say, hey, you look stressed, you look anxious, maybe you like a pillow from our pillow menu, because people don't want to be told that they look stressed. People don't want to be told that they look anxious. Especially people who are self-conscious or might be sensitive to their looks. Just a thought. I don't know. Maybe. Uh, yeah, the people who train these individuals are the big professionals in the field of body language, and one of them is Patty Wood. Patty Wood has a bachelor's and master's in body language, and she's featured on television all the time, usually on CNN or sort of morning talk show whenever they're talking about, body language or something. And so yeah, she's a big deal. And then we have D. Vincent Sullivan. He's a retired FBI agent. He spent 28 years inside the Federal Bureau of Investigation. 20 years were spent inside the Joint Terrorist Task Force, where you practice something called indirect assessment, where you can determine from someone's body language exactly what motives they have, such as if they're gonna be a criminal threat, if they're involved in criminal activity, if they're a terrorist threat, state threat, government threat, business threat, whatever. That was his job. So he trained the security staff at the Athena hotels, and so yeah, pretty big names. And with these big names come big results, because the hotel has responded and said that their employees do feel more empowered. They feel that they can reach the needs of their guests a lot more. They feel more confident inside their job. So I mean, that's probably one of the best things that can come out of this, even if people don't buy their yoga kits and therapeutic pillows. If your staff feels empowered, your staff feels that they can perform their job better, I mean, that's very, very good. And so I found that interesting. We'll read a little bit more from the articles. Okay. To help, the company brought in body language expert Patty Wood to train the employees. The training involves learning how to pick up on subtle signs that might reveal what a customer wants before they speak, or even during a conversation. For instance, men and women deal with conflict differently. Women prefer face-to-face contact. Men prefer side-to-side. Yeah. So, reading facial expressions like anger, happiness, can also clue in the staff about how to best handle the situation. It's interesting. It's definitely something that people in the service industry should learn. That's pretty important. They could totally transfer into restaurant type situation, food service situations. Some people like hostesses, servers, and bartenders. Um, they probably already know how to pick up on people's body language. Taking a class on it could only help. That's totally something that they should learn. That's very important to pick up on people's body language. So yeah, this is an example where training to performance standards has succeeded, where the hotel decided that their staff needs to be more informed about their guests, and figured out the best way to do that is to work on understanding guests' body language. So they hired two very well-known professionals in the field of body language, and the results were that their staff felt more confident and more, I guess, confident and in giving their guests what they may need and want. So overall, it was a good experience um, in training to performance standards. So yeah, hope people who watched this video enjoyed the presentation. That's all I have to say.